All right, man. Welcome back.
Amazing.
Good
Good
to have you, man. Good to have you. So
to see
it's
you
been a
again.
while.
It's been a while. How long has it been?
Yeah.
It's been like a couple of weeks,
Mm.
maybe even a month now, or 3 weeks at least.
Yeah. Guess so. Yeah. So how have you been in the meanwhile?
I've been good, man. I've been good. I have been working on music a lot, like I told you. Uh,
Yeah.
Working a little bit here and there to earn, to just to have some, of course, some income, which is important always. And yeah, especially focusing on music, on eating well. Also, I started juicing now. So like
Juicing.
I bought a juicer. I bought a juicer
Yeah. Yeah.
that has different filters, and then you
Yeah.
just put like fruits and vegetables there, and then you get all the juice. And
Oh no.
you don't necessarily have to have it completely liquidy. You can also get it with all the fibers, because I also
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
you should get it with the fibers also, because that's what has like the most vitamins, and it's actually very healthy. So I'm doing this now. I'm trying to have like one or two of these a day with like carrots and celery, and like not only fruits, because fruit has a lot of sugar. So eventually, if you just put like, you know uh, apples, oranges, and pineapples, then yeah, it's gonna be super sweet. But if you mix it
Yeah.
a bit, I think it's quite good. It's
Nice.
personally quite nice. So that's what I've been up to, man. What about you? What have you been up
Good. Good. Yeah. Well, funny story. Like last week, I uploaded a podcast,
to? Mm-hmm.
the poem. The poem about something. I don't know. But anyways, I'm a little bit blank right now. But I put a lot of work and a lot of effort in it.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, I started feeling a little bit sad because I had high expectations, and a lot of people wanted to be on a podcast, but just it didn't really flow at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So I was feeling a little bit low last week. Took some time to reflect, and now I'm back. And now this week it's a totally different story. So because you are back, so today we have Alvarito to everybody
Hey,
listening.
I'm
Yeah,
back,
and
bro. I'm
tomorrow I
back.
have an
Tell
yeah.
me, keep going, sir.
Yeah. So but this week is good. So I'm happy to have you here back on the show.
It's a pleasure,
But
man.
this is so good, man. Also like tomorrow I have another interview planned.
Ooh,
Wednesday
nice.
Wednesday I have another interview planned,
Wow.
and Friday I have a call before another interview. What we are going to do uh, this Saturday. So like last week I couldn't see it, right? I was totally down, feeling sad and depressed, basically. And this week is totally different. So that's also for everybody listening. Like it's night and day. Sometimes you feel bad, but the other day can be totally different. So hang in there, and we are back, and we have a special guest, Alvarito or Alvarito. How do you say it?
Alvarito,
With a B?
Alvarito is good.
Alvarito. Okay.
Alvarito, you
Yeah.
said
Yeah.
you said good. You said good. We're back, man. We're,
Uh,
we're back. We're back and
yeah.
flowing, man. We're back and flowing. Uh,
Yeah. And we have a special surprise, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. So to
Yeah.
everyone watching, just know there's a special surprise at the end. So you will
Yeah.
see if you stay.
Yeah. So
No,
you
but
have to stay tuned. Yeah.
yeah, we have to think about it. We have several options, so we're gonna see how it goes depending on the flow.
Yeah.
But man, it's a pleasure to be here, man. It's a pleasure to be here. I really enjoy this. I don't know, man. It's not for me. It's like a way of disconnecting doing these things, because yeah, okay, of course we're recording it, but as
Yeah.
we said yesterday, man, like even when we talk normally, it's the same as how we're talking now. It's not like now we are, acting more enthusiastic or more this or more that.
No.
It's just how
Yeah. Yeah.
it is. You just said it. You just said it, bro. Like you had a tough week last week. I mean, you would have. This is how it is. There's nothing to hide.
Yeah.
Everyone has bad
Yeah.
has bad days, bad weeks. And dude, that's just totally normal, man. And that's what you said, bro. Is literally what I think so often that has helped me a lot. It's like when I have a bad day or even a bad week, bro, I'm just thinking like, this is not forever. I know that. And even though I'm feeling bad emotionally or mentally in that moment, like my rational side still tells me like, is not good. This is only temporary. Tomorrow will be another day, and then tomorrow comes and it's a better day. You know,
Yeah.
uh, and it's really like relieving to think that, at least for me. even when I'm
Yeah.
feeling bad, to think that like tomorrow is, you're not going to be like this forever. Tomorrow is going to be another day, and you're going to be in a good mood probably, and if not, probably in 2 days, whatever. So like you say, man, you had a tough
Yeah.
week. This week everything's working out for you. You're gonna have some nice interviews. I'm excited to see that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, I'm super excited about it because for people who are checking in and listening in and don't follow the Instagram, you can follow me at Tao Life Coach and at Depressed to Success, which I'm really building up right now. So you can find me more at Depressed to Success. But I also used it in my favor because basically I had also social media anxiety, and that is also something that I think a lot of people have. So like really the feeling the need to post everything and to have everything perfectly aligned and blah 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 blah, use the right hashtags, etc. So I did a detox a couple of times before, um, but now I started using it in my advantage. So now I use my Instagram to do a poll, basically to ask everybody which topics they want to hear on this podcast, and like the medication and this one, like anxiety or social anxiety, were the two most requested, basically. And yeah, we two met, when I remember correctly, over anxiety, right?
Yeah,
In the beginning.
definitely. Yeah, we bonded over that because during that period I was also going through quite some bad times with anxiety, especially. And I remember we were talking about it, and
Yeah.
you were telling me your experience, and I also knew your experience in the past, which was more to do with depression. But of course, I know you're aware of both depression and anxiety. And yeah, we started talking about that by social media, and that's
Yeah.
that's how we ended
Yeah.
up doing a
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah, but that's
Mental
cool
health
because
bonds, bro. Mental health bonds.
yeah, absolutely. But that is like the real connection, when you ask me. And the both of us were in that at the same place as we are right now. And the nice thing I see now is that we are both doing better. You
Oh,
with your music, me with the podcast. But we are feeling better as well, and that's like the most important thing, right? No, it doesn't matter if you're a musician or working picking up litter in the streets or whatever. It doesn't matter, as long as you are happy. That is what counts, right?
that's what matters, man. That's
Um,
what matters.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, I believe we discussed it in the story of Alvarito a little bit, but maybe for the people who haven't listened about it, maybe you can do like a short recap on but now more focused on anxiety. So what made you anxious, and what did you do to get over it?
Yeah, 100%,
So
man.
mhm.
So I have been dealing, let's say, with a problem of anxiety, mostly anxiety, more anxiety than panic attacks, because of course there are two different things. But I've been
Yeah.
dealing with anxiety, even though of course I'm also familiar with panic attacks. But I've gone through more anxiety, let's say. And yeah, it started for me when I was already quite young, when I was like 16. Um,
Hmm.
and yeah, all of a sudden, I started feeling, how would I say, anxiety is a feeling that is very different for everyone. For me,
Yeah.
I always describe it as a certain feeling of like vulnerability in that moment, as if like the whole world was like too much for you, and as if the whole world was too big for you, and all of a sudden you start feeling scared for no apparent rational reason. That's what happened. That's
Hmm.
how I felt when I started having it, and I didn't know why. I had this feeling in my chest and in my stomach that felt bad, but there was not really a reason why. It was just, I was just feeling that. And the first time I experienced it, I was with some friends, and I said, I was like 16 back then, and I said, I need to leave for a bit. I don't know what's happening to me. And I got really scared. I thought, I don't know, that something bad was happening to me. Next day I went to the doctor. Not I didn't have any physical, let's say, things that were happening to me. And then from that day onwards, I started experiencing it every day, like on a constant basis.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I learned to live with it eventually after some time and some months. And because I learned to live with it and accepted
Yeah.
when it comes, I lost the fear of having it. And I knew that whenever I felt that way, let's say, that nothing was going to happen to me, like nothing realistically speaking was going to happen just because I have anxiety. I'm not going to die. I'm not going to faint, because even anxiety, both anxiety and panic attacks, can give you the symptoms as if you can't breathe, but like you're not going to faint. It's very, very unlikely that you're going to faint. I've had multiple,
Okay.
let's say, panic attacks and anxiety, and both panic attacks and anxiety, and I've never fainted myself. And I felt very bad with breathing, thinking that I'm going to faint, and I never did. Because I think our body, at the end of the day, subconsciously is made in a way to that you know, you cannot you can breathe not properly during the moment, but eventually your body is going to
Yeah.
breathe, you know. So you're never
Yeah.
really going to faint from that. But I learned to accept it and to not fear it. And over the years, I developed my own, let's say, techniques to make it better. And over the years, I started having this anxiety less and less. And yeah, when it was really good at one point, after having it for many years, I started in the job market at the age of like 22. Of course, a very tough experience starting in the job market after just being a student. You've never worked. It was very intense for me. And I started feeling it again, like a lot of anxiety. So again, it was like being reborn again, having to learn to walk again, you know, having to learn coping mechanisms again, because I was feeling it all the time. And that was like 2 years ago that it hit me again, the same way as it hit me when I was 16. And since then, I have just been learning these techniques, and up until now, where it's just much better, you know. And that's why I'm doing this podcast with you to you know, just to let people know that things can always get better, and that you have to develop your techniques, your own techniques that work for you. And for each person, they're different, of course, but some are very common to everyone, and they can help a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks, man, for sharing. So, do you also have a technique to share for the people listening? What was something you did, for example?
So a lot of people, ironically enough, say breathing techniques. For example, I know breathing techniques don't help everyone. Personally, ironically for me, they don't necessarily help so much, because when you're having the type of anxiety where you're having difficulty breathing, focusing on your breathing makes you even focus more on the fact that you cannot breathe. At least for me, and I think for some people as well. There's different techniques that I've developed. One of them is, for example, exercise. Exercise helps a lot for me. Even if I'm feeling very bad, if in the moment I go for a run, or if in the moment I do a workout, I can disconnect from what's happening to me in that moment, and you know, and disconnect and not think about it. And once I'm done with exercising, I realize like, oh wow, I was feeling bad, and now my mind was off it, and like I'm over it now, over that moment. So that's like definitely one of the techniques that has helped me a lot. Mostly what helps me the most, to be honest though, is communicating with some people about it. Like I know that it depends on the type of person you are. Like there's more extrovert people that prefer to keep it for themselves. I personally think that communication is important. And for me, when I have someone there that can listen to how I'm feeling, and I tell them how I feel and what I'm going through in that moment, and I have them by my side, and I have them next to me, you know, like, you know, being comprehensive and understanding, like that also helps me a lot, to feel like I'm being understood, and someone around me like cares about me, and that if something happens, they're going to be there. Like that's super comforting for me, for example, when I have things like that, and it has helped me a lot in that case. So that's a couple of techniques that I have.
And good to hear, man. Yeah. It's also like talking about it and share, like venting and sharing emotions and being heard. That's very important. I don't know. It should be normal, basically. But so who did you go to talk about it?
You know, this is very funny, and probably a lot of people can relate to this. But when I first had it, I didn't tell anyone, because I thought it was very weird. I thought that I was just crazy, and I didn't want to tell anyone. I felt horrible in the inside, but I thought that no one would understand, because not even I understood what was happening, you know? So, and imagine, like, I think it's tough, because I know a lot of people also experience it when they're really young, you know? I experienced it when I was 16. Like, people at 16, like imagine a kid, like you're a kid, you know, what at 16 years of age, what are you gonna know what's happening to you with regards to mental health, you know? Like you're not taught a lot in high school or in school in general about this. So what are you gonna know of the symptoms that are happening to you? What I thought was happening to me is that I was going crazy. Eventually I ended up telling my parents after quite some time, suffering actually.
Yeah.
I told my parents, and then they, as I said, they took me to the hospital and all of this. They saw that there was nothing going on there, and then they took me to a psychologist, and I started talking to a psychologist about it, etc., etc. And then I realized that by talking to a psychologist and to my parents about it, like it actually was quite relieving, because it felt like I didn't have to just have that dark secret inside me, like
Yeah,
it
yeah,
felt so crazy, like that's
yeah,
the
yeah,
thing. And
yeah,
man,
yeah,
the
man.
best. Sorry, sorry, go.
No, no, no. Just saying yeah. So I'm feeling you right now. So
Yeah,
so
no.
it's just super important to talk about it and get it off your chest, and don't carry that weight with you all the time. And when you speak about it, then you get feedback and you hear that you're not crazy. So it's good for everybody to speak about it. So please continue. That's just what
Yeah,
I wanted to.
yeah, I absolutely agree, bro. Absolutely agree. And for me, also one of the most comforting things is, dude, when I found out, I thought that was only happening to me, bro. Imagine, like
Yeah,
I didn't even know that what I had was called anxiety. I just didn't know what it was. But
yeah,
when I saw that other people were going through similar stuff, like, of course, like I don't wish anyone to have anything bad, but knowing that other people are going through the same and talking to them about it, and knowing that I'm not alone in this, like it's very comforting too. Not only talking to
yeah,
people that listen to you, but also sharing experiences with other people that go through the same. That has helped
yeah,
me like a lot. And it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable how people that have similar experiences can help each other. Like they can help each other
yeah,
so much. Like I've learned a lot of things from other people, like a lot of things.
yeah.
And cold showers, man. Like I was talking to a friend of mine a couple of years ago, and he also told me, like, I go through anxiety, man. And when I go through anxiety, I take cold showers. I take really cold showers that make me focus on how cold the water is, and then I don't think about anything else. It's like,
Yeah, but you can't. You can't.
can't.
I
Yeah,
also sometimes do a cold shower, but yeah, you don't have the time to think about something else. You get out of your head immediately.
exactly, man. And this is also a really
Yeah,
good technique. I also personally do it quite a lot.
that's good. Yeah.
You
So
know,
talking about it, like doing cold showers, was something else
exercise.
that you said. Exercise, of course. Yeah,
Exercise is
yeah,
very important for me also, bro. Like very important to me. Of course, this is more to me. It depends on the person and their interest. But music, bro, if I'm feeling bad and I
yeah,
start making my music, start focusing on like learning a little, or like making or composing a little guitar melody that has come to my mind, or making a song, like that will help me disconnect from what I'm thinking or
yeah,
feeling in the moment also,
yeah. And also, like you mentioned, disconnecting also a couple of times. So really focusing on something different, basically, than yeah
Absolutely.
your anxiety thoughts, basically.
Yeah, focusing on activities that can make you disconnect, focusing on
Yeah,
things that interest you so much, or that you're legitimately curious about them,
yeah,
that you will probably be focused on that task, and therefore not
yeah,
about how you're feeling.
yeah,
That's different for everyone. For me it's music, but it could be anything.
yeah.
So yeah, man, I think that's a good one. what
Yeah,
about what
cool,
about
man.
you? Do you have some techniques that you've developed, because probably you're also
Well,
experienced in this?
yeah, like one of the most important things for me. So uh, first of all, I notice now that I'm looking more into anxiety more and more, that I've had anxiety as well, uh,
Mm.
combined with depression. So
Yeah.
that's called comorbiditeit, or
Yeah,
comorbidity.
comorbidity. Yeah, comorbidity. Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. Basically, everybody has more things, so everybody has a comorbidity.
Everyone has.
But I also looked up the stats, and I'm gonna do another podcast like for the people who are really into statistics. But it comes down that a lot of people who suffer from anxiety disorder
Mm-hmm.
also suffer or are prone to suffer from depression, and the other way around. So that was very eye-opening and interesting to me. And also, one thing you mentioned was like really talking about it, and um, knowing what you have can be helpful for a lot of people. For I think that goes for almost all uh, mental illnesses or disorders. When you know what you have, and you know that you are not the only one
Mm.
that has it, and you know that there has been done research, and you know that uh, there are a lot of tools and a lot of things you can do, then yeah, it makes it a little bit lighter, and it gives you a lot of new spark or more hope,
Yep.
basically.
Yeah. And if you know what you have, you can also research into it, and
Yeah,
maybe meet other people on
exactly.
social media that have it too, or possible things that could help. You know, when I was really really bad, I was, well, also when I was 16, I was also diagnosed with both, with like depression and anxiety, both of them. I was
Okay,
diagnosed.
yeah.
Yeah, I was diagnosed with both. Like even 2 years ago, I was diagnosed. Like, yeah, this is medical terms, but basically, I was diagnosed with generalized anxiety and
Yeah, yeah.
major depressive disorder also.
Disorder.
Both of them.
Wow.
It was,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
crazy, bro. That's crazy. Like
Yeah.
that's insane. Like that's really really tough because, as you know, like you can be like moderately depressed, mildly depressed, like, or majorly depressed, like major depressive disorder. You know, I had like major depression, bro, and
Yeah.
generalized anxiety disorder, which was something that I already had, generalized
Yeah.
anxiety disorder, since I
Yeah.
was like 16. But the
Yeah.
major depression was something also that was triggered by, let's say, specific circumstances of during the stage that I was working and stuff. But for example, I don't have that anymore. That I know. Like
Yeah.
I
Exactly.
don't think I have depression anymore. I don't think I suffer from that.
No.
I have bad moments and bad days, but I don't have like a constant state of sadness or anything like this. I have moments where I feel sad, of
Mm.
course, and I have things that annoy me or can make me sad.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I have so many good moments and like fun moments. And when I was majorly depressed, a lot of people can identify to this, I'm sure. You don't have, like, you can be moderately depressed and have some good moments. But the way I was with major depression, bro, I didn't have a single good moment. I didn't have one good
Mm.
moment, bro.
No, I know.
You know, like for real,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah. Sorry. That was just a coping mechanism, laughing, because I really feel you, and I had the same thing. But that is also something for everybody listening. Sometimes I laugh, but that's just because it resonates with me. So when I laugh, most of the times it resonates with me, and I really feel how it feels, you know.
Yeah,
And also like the fun things, even like I'm like really like a gym shark, you know. I really like going to the gym, but when I was in my major depression, then I also didn't feel like going to the gym. I didn't feel like talking to my friends. I didn't feel like anything, basically.
yeah, same. Yeah, and
It's
that's
crazy.
that's a really good point, the one you made, because that's one of the key signs of knowing when you have depression, when you're doing stuff
Mhm.
that you enjoy and you're not even enjoying it,
Yeah.
bro. Like I wasn't even enjoying music. I wasn't enjoying time with my family. I wasn't enjoying
Yeah.
anything, bro. Like, and I remember I called a friend of mine on the phone and I was like, I don't know what's happening to me, but like I'm not enjoying anything in life. Like
Yeah.
really, like nothing makes me happy right now. Everything is just like sad, or like I feel bad while doing stuff all the time. And she
Yeah.
told me, I remember, like, yeah, you might be depressed. Like it could be that you are depressed.
Mhm.
And then I talked to a psychiatrist, and she told me indeed I was, and they recommended me even taking
Yeah.
medication,
Yeah.
as we said already. And
Yeah.
but I never took it. I chose to try to
Yeah.
get out of it naturally, you know.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. I think like your body produces the right chemicals when you do things like exercising and meditation. Those are so beneficial. And also when you look at the medication that they prescribe, because that's also a question. So the next podcast is going to be more about medication. But when you compare the prescribed medication for anxiety and depression, it's basically the same. It's
Yeah,
SSRIs or SSNIs,
SSRIs. Yeah,
RNIs.
SSRIs. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah. So it has a lot of overlap,
Yeah,
but still, not the same. It's different. And as you mentioned before, you have so many types of depression. You have so many types of anxiety. For example, PTSD or OCD is also anxiety.
exactly.
Phobias are anxiety. So
Yeah, social anxiety, generalized
yeah.
anxiety. You know.
Yeah. Oh, real quick, because I also just received a question via Instagram about social anxiety.
Hmm.
And he had like a question that I wanted to ask you. So he was like kind of anxious for presentations. I don't know if you ever felt anxious for presentations.
That's such a good point, man, that you're making.
Yeah.
Very interesting
Yeah.
topic because, man, I'm gonna tell you something interesting. When I, like, as a person, man, like my personality is very very prone to be out there. I'm very prone to do stuff in public. I'm teachers and friends and, like, let's say people in my classmates, whatever, have always told me
Mhm.
that one of my greatest assets is speaking out in public, and I've always been really good at it.
Oh yeah.
When I suffer from
Cool.
anxiety, I was really really good at it. But one day, bro,
Yeah.
one day, I've always been really good at it. Like part of my personality is just going out there. Even right now, I'm just
Yeah.
talking, and it feels like I'm super comfortable and very natural and whatever, and that I'm not blank. I have so many things to talk about. That's what it looks like, and that's how it was. But when I was around 21, 22, one day something weird started happening to me, man. Like my brain just, all of a sudden, I was in a public event, and my brain
Mhm.
started telling me like, okay, what if right now, like, you're not able to like breathe, and then like you get a bit of anxiety, and then you're not able to breathe properly, and then everyone starts looking at you, and then you
Yeah.
have to get out of the room because you faint, and then everyone makes a huge show about it because, like, come on, you cannot faint in front of all these people, like, wow, like this cannot happen, blah blah blah. My brain just started telling me this, like these thoughts just started
Yeah.
coming to my mind. I had never had these thoughts, but one day arrived. One day I just gave a presentation, and my mind just kept telling me like, Alvaro, you're starting to feel dizzy. And then I started to feel dizzy, and then I kept thinking, okay, but these people now are watching me. What if I feel so dizzy that I faint, and then in front of all these people I will faint, and then I will
Yeah.
look ridiculous, this sort of social anxiety thing because of giving a presentation or doing something in front of people. And then it started happening more recurringly, more and more and more,
Yeah.
to the point where I was scared to give a presentation or to go to meetings in public, bro, because I had never had this in my life. But one day it just came to my head. This thought just came to my head of, what if everyone is watching you and something happens, and something happens, and it goes badly, and then I started feeling
Mhm.
really anxious during presentations. And it's interesting because I was never like that, and one day it started happening.
Yeah.
And I have been working on it, and now it's better. But yeah, man, like it still happens, like
Yeah.
not as often as before, but like I definitely, it's something that even I'm still working on. Like, as we said,
Yeah.
like we're not perfect, it's not like I have solved my entire life and that's why I'm on this
Yeah.
podcast. Things
Yeah.
have gotten better, but I'm still working on it. So yeah, I definitely have still issues with presentation and social anxiety generally, because of this breathing thing that I feel like, at least personally for me, it's just this breathing thing where I'm like, I can't breathe properly, and what if all of these people notice
Yeah.
around me that I can't breathe properly, and then I get nervous.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
that's my experience. What about you?
Yeah, for me it is like it's also like in your persona, right? So you like standing uh in front of crowds, like public events and stuff like that, right? And giving presentations basically.
Yeah, generally I always.
Yeah, normally. But now with anxiety, then you notice it's different.
Yeah, now with
Um,
anxiety, since this started happening, which was around 2 years ago, before it
yeah,
didn't happen, I'm a bit more like skeptic to it. I still do it every
yeah,
time I have this opportunity, but I don't look with as much enthusiasm towards it as I used to because
yeah,
of this fear.
yeah. And for me, it's just the other way around because I really hate being
Hmm.
in public. I it might sound strange, but I really hate being on Instagram.
Oh,
I hate
really?
being on camera. Yeah,
It doesn't
I
look like
prefer
it.
podcasts because I can be off camera. So
Yeah, yeah,
but a lot of people who know me, they think that I like it or that I enjoy it. But um, most of the times that's not the case. I enjoy the process and I enjoy our conversation. But when I start focusing on being on camera,
yeah.
then I can get anxious more.
Yeah.
Or also when people are watching, like I remember presentations back on college or in university. Man, I can already now recall the feeling, like the heart pounding in my chest and the shallow breath.
Sure.
And that was also something that I noticed um, a while back during scrolling through my Instagram feed. Also, like it's an OCD thing, I think. Like I really felt the need for, okay, this is important for the podcast. I have to save this. This is important for that. I have to save this. So I was saving everything, and I noticed when I was doing it that I wanted to keep scrolling, and I really felt my breath becoming more shallow and shallow to the point that I even started holding my breath.
Yeah, bro.
Did you have the same?
Dude, yeah, bro, I've reached the point where in front of people I kept talking, and everything
Mm-hmm.
was blurry. I couldn't even see anything because I was breathing so badly that I wasn't getting enough oxygen because I was breathing like I was feeling super dizzy. I didn't like everything was like moving blurry because of my lack of oxygen, and I still kept presenting, making it look like everything is okay. Like that's
Yeah.
the point that I've gotten to in some occasions. Like when it's gotten really really bad, it's been there. Like usually it's not that bad. Usually while I'm presenting, I'm always thinking a bit like, am I breathing well? Am I not breathing well? But it has gotten to points like you say, bro, where I notice, like you say, my breathing going more and more shallow, and I just start feeling super dizzy, bro. And I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
and my mind tells me like the fight or flight response is like,
Yeah.
you need to get out of here. You need to get out of here. And I'm just like, no, fuck this. I'm staying here. Like I'm not gonna get out.
Yeah. But that's good.
I'm
Yeah.
staying here. But it's very very tough, man. It's very. I
Yeah.
was about to ask you that, like, what are because it's always has to do with future things or future thoughts that make you feel that way. But what are your future? What are your thoughts that, let's say, make you feel anxious in those situations? Because I think that's also interesting for everyone.
What do you mean exactly? Because before I go into that, that's also like one big uh important difference between anxiety and depression. Because anxiety is more
Yeah,
orientated, and
yeah.
depression is more likely to go back to the
Back
past.
to the past.
Um,
Yeah.
and when you have both, yeah, you're kind of screwed, right?
You're everywhere. You're everywhere, bro. You're
Yeah,
you are a
but
time
but
you're a time machine, bro.
yeah, but then basically, actually, that's also a gift because when you can go back to the past and you can go to the future with your mind, the only place where you can go to is right here in the present, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and that's also what they prescribe people with depression and anxiety is mindfulness, basically being here and now being aware of our conversation, our vibe.
Exactly.
And
Very important.
but that is, I think that helps everybody and even if you don't have any type of
Even if
illness
you don't
or
have it,
disorder.
a really
Yeah,
good advice related to what you just said, by the way.
yeah,
Forcing yourself into a situation that forces you to be in the present moment is a really really good thing. Like when you're feeling bad or whatever, forcing yourself into a situation where you have to focus on the present is a really good one. What I mean by being forced is putting yourself in a position where whether you like it or not, you're gonna focus on that moment. So as I said, really really cold water, that's all you're gonna think
hmm
about because it's super cold. Going in front of
yeah,
a crowd, you're not gonna think about how much anxiety you have. You're gonna think about what you have
ah,
to say.
yeah, yeah,
Being in a conversation in a podcast that's
yeah,
being recorded, of course you can think about your things, but
exactly,
you're being forced on focusing on what I'm saying and you're replying to me. So
exactly,
your mind
yeah,
is focused on this moment. All of these
exactly,
situations, at least to my experience, are really 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 helpful, man. Really really
yeah,
really helpful.
exactly, yeah, true. Yeah, true. Because also, funny thing, before our interview, this interview, I noticed that I really am more a type of person that goes into something spontaneously, don't give it a lot of thought. I
Mm-hmm,
know some things are need to be done,
mm-hmm.
and then when I can flow, then everything is okay. But now I noticed that I was trying to make it perfect. So the inner perfectionist woke up again, and I thought, oh man, I started feeling anxious. I thought, oh man, I have to read this, I have to do that, and blah 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 blah. And then I also was diagnosed with ADHD, and something that I struggle with sometimes is when I really need to do something. Sometimes my mind just blocks, and I
Mm.
haven't had that for a long time, basically. But today I had it. I researched again, and I started feeling anxious. I even thought, oh, maybe we should postpone or something. But then I thought, just as you said, basically F it, I
Yeah.
can't pronounce the whole word, but it starts with an F.
Oh, you mean fight or
You
flight?
just have to do it. Yeah, general anxiety too. Yeah, and you just have to do it. You have to go through it. And the moment when we started recording, I couldn't think on the anxiety stuff because I was in the moment, right? So
Exactly,
you
exactly,
just
exactly.
hopped on the ship and it's going and
Yeah.
it's flowing. So
Dude, imagine like all your thoughts before this podcast. Like
yeah,
you've been in this
true.
and you haven't thought about what you were thinking about before the podcast.
Yeah,
It's the same for me. I was thinking
yeah,
about the things that have happened throughout the day today, etc., etc.
yeah,
Some are good, some were stressful. But in this
yeah,
moment, I haven't thought about any of these things since we started because we're
yeah,
flowing. I'm
true.
focused on what you're gonna say. I'm listening to you, and you're focused on what I'm saying. So These sort of things are really, really good. This is another way
yeah,
of disconnecting, to be honest. That's why I told you,
yeah,
man, I don't see this as an additional effort in my routine. I see this as something fun because it helps me
yeah,
disconnect, you know. And I'm the same, by the way, as you. Like when I start something, recording or in front of people, that's when I'm most scared, and then it starts flowing. After like a
yeah,
couple of
yeah,
minutes, it gets better, and then it starts flowing,
yeah,
and then at the end,
yeah,
it's like, okay, it went
yeah,
awesome. But in the
yeah,
beginning, it's like,
exactly. Yeah,
I don't know,
yeah,
not going that well, and then, well, it just starts flowing.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But that something that they also do is like exposure therapy, right? People
Yes,
who
absolutely, man, absolutely.
agoraphobia, or yeah, I know, no. So basically, you're
Agoraphobia is also
agoraphobia. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
also a
It's
type
it's
of
the same in English, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah,
agoraphobia. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, for the people who don't know what it is, it's basically that you are afraid to go out on the street and to be seen by people. And what they do basically is that they force you to go out, but not just for a minute, but just like for a very long time or a high frequency. And then you start to realize that it's not that bad as your mind says it is sometimes. I
Yes.
think the same thing. Yeah. Also with the presentation, also with this, um, before I was so anxious and I really so nervous. I also did like a challenge for myself, and when I look back at it, it totally sucks. But that doesn't care. That doesn't matter, because it was all about being comfortable, being uncomfortable. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah.
Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
So for the guy who was a little bit anxious about giving a presentation, one tip I can give him is just do it anyway, and don't let yourself
Absolutely, man.
be put
It's
back.
always
And
good. It's always good to think about what's the worst thing that could happen. And realistically
yeah,
speaking, bro, like, man, it's
mm,
just a presentation. No, you're not gonna
yeah,
die. If it goes bad, it goes bad. One presentation in your life goes bad. We live
mhm,
80, 90 years these days. You have so
exactly.
many chances to do it well next time. Even if
Yeah,
you faint while doing it that day, it doesn't matter.
yeah,
These people that you think that care, because I have that as well. I think like, oh, they might
mhm,
care so much about what I say, and they might judge me for what I'm saying. These people, they're gonna go to their house 5 minutes later, and they're not gonna think about you. They're gonna be thinking about their lives. No
actually
one is
true.
thinking
Yeah,
about you. No one is like, apart from the people that really love you, the people
yeah,
around you that are just acquaintances, they're focused on their lives, just like you're on yours.
true.
No one cares.
Yeah,
No one really cares
yeah,
about what you do, man. It's just
yeah.
how it is. And it's important to
That can also be a good thing. Yeah, yeah, true. Yeah,
it's very good, man. So yeah,
yeah,
that's super interesting what we just discussed, man. Very, very interesting.
yeah,
I hope that people can identify with this, and hopefully they can relate also, and yeah, hopefully learn something from our
yeah,
experiences, right?
yeah. True. Because yeah, we are not we're not professionals in the sense that we don't prescribe medication, or we're not psychologists or whatever, but we try to share our experiences, and together we come up with more uh, tools and tips how to get through this basically. And also, like, one of the things that we also mentioned is just by talking about it, we let other people know that they are not alone.
Yeah,
And like the goal of this podcast is to uh, get more people on board and speak up. And it doesn't have to be like we are recording this on video, but that's not a necessity. So it can also be just audio, or it can be anonymous. That's no problem.
yeah, yeah.
But
No,
yeah,
that's a
talking
good one.
about it that's where it starts, right? When you can talk about it, communicating about it, but also with yourself internally.
Yeah, I mean, we are purely, as we said, we're merely just talking from our own experiences, and we're doing that because we believe that just like it's helped us to learn from other people's experiences, this will also help other people. Like
Yeah,
I was telling you, I learned most of my coping mechanisms from my experience of how I suffered, but especially also from other people's advice of people that were going through the same as I was. That's what I learned
yeah,
most. Like, I'm not saying that going to a psychologist or medication is not good, but for me, in my case, what has really, really helped me to improve and feel better have been people that I know that are going through similar stuff and that have shared their experiences, and my own like learning throughout the years of my suffering,
Yeah.
the pain that I went through, of course,
Yeah. Exactly. And that also back to the presentation part, but can be anything. When you look at it that way, as a learning experience, it's not that it has to be perfect, but that you want to grow from it, you want to learn from it, then it also becomes easier, at least what I get back and what also works for me. At least. Oh yeah, and another thing I wanted to say, so you can think about what you just mentioned. You can ask yourself, and what's the worst thing that could happen, and then rationalize it and think, okay, that's, of course, that's not possible. But another thing you can do is just the opposite and visualize right before you go to sleep what the best outcome is. Really visualize yourself, how you are standing, how you are feeling, even what you are dressing, how the crowd looks or how the presentation looks. um, Focusing on the most positive outcome also has a positive effect on the brain, because when you see it, you start to believe it, and the more often you do it, the basically you are reprogramming your brain to success, basically.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And I think you mentioned two things that are actually quite related, like so the aspect of social anxiety and then like the aspect of agoraphobia. I feel like they're both very related because they all have to do with situations, right? Like agoraphobia
Mhm.
also has a lot to do with dealing with social situations, and that's why you end up staying
Yeah,
in your house and not getting out
yeah,
of it. You don't want to
yeah,
deal with any of these situations
yeah,
either. And I think it all starts. It starts with small things and then reaches the point where you don't get out of your house. It
yeah,
starts with a small presentation that you want to give, but then you're scared, so you don't give it. Go into a
yeah,
restaurant with your friends, but then you're scared of that social situation, so you don't go
yeah,
either. So then you don't go to the presentation, you don't go to the restaurant, you don't go to that gathering with this person, you don't go there, and then eventually you just end
yeah,
up staying at your place. And this is, I've had this, like I've been through this as well. And like the thing is, the problem there is that your mind is convincing you that you can't do it. That's the problem.
mm-hmm.
And that's why what you say is really true, like the exposure thing, the aspect of doing it is the best thing that at least I believe has worked for me, because it's a way of reassuring and convincing yourself again to your brain, like, no, I can do it, like that's not true, I
Yeah,
can actually do it. Like your brain's telling me it happened to me, bro. Like it even happens to me now. Sometimes my brain tells me, no, you can't give this presentation, you can't go there because you're gonna feel bad and blah blah blah. And then I go, and then I say, no, I'm gonna go, and then I go, and then I
yeah,
realize, like, I can do it. Why was I telling myself I couldn't do it? Like I can do it. And you
yeah,
start reconquering again your all of your fears and convince yourself that you can actually do it.
yeah, yeah. Totally agree, man.
No, it's
Thanks a lot, man, for sharing again.
no, thank you, man, for the
Yeah,
opportunity.
yeah, but yeah, you know, we can't do it alone. We really need each other to really make an impact, and that I'm super thankful for you being on the podcast. We vibe really well even before the podcast.
For sure.
That also goes for another of a couple of friends who are on the podcast and who are planned for this week. So I'm looking forward to it. Another guy also plays guitar very well.
Same,
So
man. I'm looking forward to also seeing the other interviews.
yeah,
I'm sure there will be super
yeah,
cool.
yeah. Thanks, man. So everybody listening, if you have any questions related or on the topic depression or anxiety, just send me a DM for a future podcast. And now we are about to wrap it up, and we have a special surprise. Yeah,
Damn,
not for me, but
damn. Final
Marito is
surprise
going to.
coming. Final
Yeah,
surprise coming up.
yeah. So what is it?
Uh,
Up to you. You have two options, right? So
yeah, indeed, 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 indeed. Um, you know what?
what makes you feel most anxious, and do that one.
Okay, so guys, just so you know, there's two options. Either way, we're gonna do both of them eventually in another podcast. So,
Yeah.
uh, there's two options. One of the options would be to rhyme, so freestyling and rhyming with words that Tao will now give me. Or the other option would be to play a guitar composition, which is absolutely the most comfortable zone I could be in. I think the most uncomfortable
Uh,
zone I could be in would be putting me on the spot with random words and rhyme. So you know what? Let's do it.
okay, you know what it is. Okay, so how many words do you need?
I mean, the ideal thing I think would be, we would need an instrumental to do it over, but we can also do it a cappella without necessarily a beat. So yeah, because I think if we put an instrumental, probably it's not going to be heard so well. That's the thing.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
you know, so we can just tell me.
But
Yeah.
you are into music, and I don't know if I can give a scoop or not.
Yeah, I'm into music. So sorry.
Yeah. I don't know if I can give a scoop or not.
Oh
You
no,
know,
you can
because
say it. Of course, say it. Yeah, for sure.
because you are also working on some projects, right, musically.
Absolutely.
So there is something coming in the near future, probably. So
Also, 100%.
yeah, yeah, we can work on this and make our own beats, and then we have something else to share, right?
Absolutely. And you know what we can also do? This is gonna be even more difficult, but I'm gonna do it. You know what, man? You know what? I'm gonna do the extreme. I'm gonna combine them both. So
Right.
I'm gonna bring
Wow.
the guitar. I'm gonna bring the guitar,
Seriously.
and I'm going to rhyme. I'm going to rhyme your words while playing guitar. It might go horribly, but it's okay, man.
All right.
let
Nice,
me
nice,
get the
nice.
guitar. Yeah, I will take 2 seconds.
Okay, cool. Yeah. That's 2 seconds, man.
Here it is. 2 seconds. Here it is.
Spanish 2 seconds.
It's Spanish. This is the example of a Spanish 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Let me see if I have. Or I can just do it like this. Yes. Yeah, it should be fine. All right. So let's see what we do. Okay. Give me a word.
Yeah. Okay. So I have 3 words up front. So anxiety, depression, and presentation.
Presentation. Okay. I'm gonna tell you something about this presentation. The key to solving anxiety is education, and educating yourself, and stop being in that hell and going to heaven, and always thinking about good things no matter the weather. Give me another word on the spot. I'll show you what I can do and what I cannot. Give me another word. I'll say.
Wow. All right. Music.
Music. Some people do music for fashion. I do music because that's my passion. That's what I do, and that's what I strive. I do music, and I will do it for life. Yeah, give me another one.
Cool. Guitar hero.
Guitar hero?
Yeah.
Guitar hero, I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of lame. Although, I'm not gonna lie, it's also a good game. But I have not played it in quite a while. But that's okay. I played it with my friend Kyle. And now I'm rhyming. I don't even know what I'm saying. But that's okay because it's part of learning. And that's what we do.
Whoa, nice, man. Wow, it's amazing. Cool. It's a rap, right?
It's a rap.
It's a rap. Yeah. Cool, man. Nice.
It's also difficult to do it while playing guitar, you know. But
yeah, I know. I can do both. So respect, man. Really like it.
You can do both also?
No, I can't. I cannot do both.
Yeah. No, well, it's it was interesting.
Or not yet. Let me say not yet. I'm willing to learn. So.
No, amazing.
Yeah.
Very good. Very very
cool.
very cool surprise. You never. That's
nice, man.
That's what you get when you freestyle. You never know what you're gonna get.
Yeah, man. Nice. Yeah, cool, man. Thanks a lot, man. For the great energy, great vibes, great stories, experiences, your insights, but overall energy. Thanks a lot, man.
Yeah, no,
really appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you. As usual, we had already done the first podcast, but it's very very nice that you count with me for doing further podcasts, and I really appreciate it, man. So amazing.
Yeah.
And thanks for putting me out of the comfort zone, and doing it, man. You gotta expose yourself and get out of the comfort zone, man. And what better way to show this than to doing it yourself in front of everyone while you're talking about this, So
yeah, that's amazing, man.
It's okay to look ridiculous sometimes, it happens.
Yeah, you absolutely have to.
You have to. So
you can't take yourself serious all the time. That's also like for everything. Also maybe for a presentation where you don't take yourself that seriously and maybe add in a little bit of humor or a joke. That's a great icebreaker right from the start. So that might also be a good tip, I think.
yeah, absolutely, man.
Or a freestyle, of course.
Or a freestyle. Or a
Or a
freestyle.
freestyle.
Or a freestyle while playing guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, also good. Next time, I will play some like Spanish guitar compositions that I made. I think
Oh
that'll
wow,
be
man.
cool.
Yeah. Love it, man.
Amazing.
Cool, man. Thanks.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
we have a couple of other podcasts coming up in the future,
I'm excited for that.
and the music, of course. So everybody, stay tuned. Can they follow you already somewhere, or just in a later
Yeah,
podcast?
100%, 100%. I don't, how do you wanna? Well, I can say it. It's Alvarito_OLAN. So it's a bit difficult, but maybe you can put it somewhere on your story.
Yeah,
Or you can put it on the on my
yeah,
story. So.
yeah. All right, man. Well, yeah, I'm gonna tag you in the story, and then looking forward to hearing from your music soon and
Thank you.
calling soon. So we're gonna keep in touch,
Oh, absolutely.
and yeah, until the next one.
Until the next one. Thanks a lot, man.
All right, man. You too, man. Thanks.